Hello and welcome. My name is Sherry Dawn and I thank you for joining me today. I will be guiding you through about a 50-minute class focused on hips, shoulders, and back. We'll be using either a blanket, foam roller, or a bolster depending on your comfort level. As always, if any of my suggestions are not right for your body, please honor your boundaries and gently test your limits. So please, join me on your mat. So let's tune in first. We're going to come into child's pose. And the reason we have the bolsters, blocks and blankets and everything is so that we can make this child's pose as comfortable as possible. So with your rolled blanket or your bolster or your foam roller or what have you, I'll show you different ways to come into this comfortably. If you have really tight knees, you can take this rolled blanket and put it behind the knees and drop the booty down. That prevents the knees from getting too deep if you have really tight hips. Again, you can put it in the crook of the hips as you roll forward, and that prevents too much flexion there. Or we can just put it between our legs and roll forward onto it. I would like to have your forehead supported and the rest of the body supported, so depends on what prop you're using for your child's pose. And if you can get all the way down, just go ahead and go all the way down, forehead to the floor. Let's take a few moments here and breathe into the back body. To relax. Allow the entire spine to flow forward like a river flowing from the pelvis to the forehead, and all the negativity being washed away, all the tension, all the strife. Anything that has bothered you, just breathe it out and let it go. Prepare the body and the mind for today's practice. Try to focus solely on the breath, watching it move naturally. Maybe lengthening it just a little bit on the inhale. Maybe pushing just a little more out on the exhale. Completely relaxing. Take a few more long, deep, slow breaths here. Set an intention to your practice or your day, knowing that we're going to be working into the heart, and this also helps to excite the nervous system a little bit when you open up through the chest. Is spent with the rounded shoulders and the rounded back, just as in the pose that we're practicing right now. Just kind of that soft, gentle rounding position. Taking a few more long, deep, slow breaths here in child's pose. And with the next inhale, let's go ahead and float on up into removing our bolster or blanket or what have you. And now we're going to do just a few cat-cows to start to soften and mobilize the spine. Keep the breath long. Keep the movement nice and passive. Nothing too intense right now. Finding our time. Let's go 3 more with your breath. Last one. And let's set up for our next asana, our next hold, going into puppy or melting heart. So I'll show you several different ways that we can achieve this. First off, we want to make sure that the hips and the knees kind of stay in alignment. And we walk the hands out in front of us, slowly allowing the heart to come down to the mat. If this is way too intense on your front body or your low back, this is again where we employ our props and bringing the heart down onto the bolster the best you can. And if that's still not enough, go ahead and build it up. Make it as comfortable as you can. I really like this melting heart pose. It really starts to relax through the front body and allow the heart to open. Breathe into this. If you can, bring your heart all the way to the earth. You can set the chin down on the mat, and that'll deepen that spinal extension, opening the heart a little more. And again, being in your body wherever you're at. If at any time this becomes too intense, come on out of it. Maybe perform a little cat-cow. And then descend back into it for just a few more breaths. Take 3 more long, deep breaths. And try to let the heart drift towards the earth a little deeper. And then on the inhale, start to walk those hands back. Come up into all fours and then drop back down into child's pose. And allow a little flexion to come back into the spine again. You can tuck the hands back and behind you to let the shoulders drape forward a little more. Breathe. Long, slow, deep breathing. And imagine me coming around in class and pressing a little bit onto your low back to stretch through that low back just a little bit more. Allow those shoulders to gently roll forward a little more, relaxing into this a little deeper. One more breath. Inhale, float it up into all fours. And let's do a little bit of cat-cow again to let that out of the spine. And let's go ahead and walk those knees forward and kick the legs off to one side. And let's grab our bolster or blanket or whatever you're using, what prop you're using. And we're going to take it and put it right up underneath the tips of the shoulder blades. And then roll down gently onto it. Now the core can gently relax as we open those arms up and roll the body backwards. So if the legs are uncomfortable in this position, we can draw them up, bending the knees and bringing the soles of the feet together. But it's best if you keep the legs long and continue to allow this bolster to gently open up. Now, make adjustments if you need. I definitely need a little adjustment here. And then roll on back. Attempt to let the head drop back and the arms to gently open at the heart center. Here we are in a little bit of a modified fish pose. I know this is your favorite. Breathe into it. Feel that low back start to relax a little bit, and how that starts to stretch through the front body, opening up the heart just a little bit more. Keep attempting to press the legs long along the earth. Big, deep breaths. Let's take just a few more of these. Last one. Now, if you feel like you've really stretched out that front body and need a little assistance to get the head off the floor, go ahead and use your hands. Help the head get up off the floor, and then bring the elbows in. Gently engage through the core. And bring the body up. Coming into an easy seated position. Hands on the knees. Keep the breath long. And let's perform just a couple of real gentle seated cat-cows here. Inhale, opening. Exhale, rounding. Keep the mind quiet, body relaxed. Just going to mobilize the spine, just a few more breaths. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, sit up tall. Let's bring those hands out to the sides. And on the next inhale, let's bring that left arm up into the sky. Exhale, arc it over, gently sliding that right hand out to help support the body. Set your alignment here. Keep the heart open and turn the head to look up. Plug that left hip into the earth and reach a little bit further and deeper, opening that side body. And you can bend that right elbow and drop the arm down if you have that kind of range. If not, wherever you're at, just keep attempting to separate each and every rib. Breathe into it. And now gently, let's go ahead and draw that left hand back just a little bit to open up the heart. Attempt to connect that left hip to the earth again. And while maintaining this side arc, this lateral flexion, we're going to go inhale, reach the arm up into the sky just a little bit. And then turn the palm away from us so the thumb now faces down and the palm is away from us. Let's bend that elbow, drop that shoulder, and try to clasp that right hip. Gaze down, gaze up, gaze down, gaze up. Last one. Gaze down. Now let's draw that left shoulder just a little further back and look up to the sky. Long, deep breath, opening up that shoulder. If you would like, you can drop the head down a little bit and then pick it up and see where we find most of the tension in that neck. One more breath. Let's turn the head, look down to come out of this. Unbind that left arm, reach it back up into the sky, and then drop that left arm down, rolling through the back. Now let's walk those arms to the center line. Drop the heart down towards the earth and really stretch through that low back. And this folded forward, the folded legs forward fold. Inhale, tuck the tailbone. Walk the hands back gently as we stack one vertebra atop the next. Sitting up tall. Let everything settle in. Send your mind's eye to any areas of that low back, top of the left pelvis that may be singing, or maybe the rib cage, left rib cage. Just let it settle down for just a moment. Let's go ahead and bring those hands back out to the sides. On the inhale, that right arm floats up. Exhale, gently arc it over, coming to your deepest lateral flexion to initiate. Hold here for just a minute. Couple of breaths. And then as that body, that side body, gets used to this opening, slowly and gently keep descending towards that left arm. And again, start working through, Keep making all your little adjustments and modifications. Long, deep breaths. When you really start to feel those ribs start to open, we can go ahead and move into the bind, arm to the sky. Turn that thumb down, palm back, and then drop the back of the hand to the sacrum and sneak it on over and bind to that left hip. Mind your neck here. Always honor your boundaries. Getting to know your body. Breathe into this long, deep breath. Find a placement for your head where you can really stretch through that right neck. You can even try to pick the head up a little bit and see what the weight of the head does to the neck at different rotational positions. And just play with this a little bit. See where you can open up a little more. And then breathe into that tight spot. Let's take 5 more breaths here. Two more breaths. Last breath. Gently unbind. Slide that hand, right hand back up into the sky. And then allow it to come down next to the left. And let's walk those hands back to center line. Forward fold. And release that back and side bodies. Three more breaths here. Last breath. Begin by lifting the head, walking the hands back towards the body. Tuck the tailbone. Roll up, one vertebra at a time. And again, sit for just a few moments. Let everything settle in. Check in with your body in your mind's eye. Alrighty. Let's come into another real deep front body shoulder stretch, but we're going to work through this one step at a time. For anyone who's not done this shoulder stretch, it can be a little bit of a work, a little wonky to get into it. We're not going to be needing any of our bolsters or blankets or anything for this one, so go ahead and push everything out to the side. So if you want to watch me come into this right quick, I can show you how to, and then we'll walk through it one step at a time. We're going to come onto your tummy. And then the arms up. Oops. There we go. Open those arms up. Wrists in line with the shoulders. The head, we're going to turn it to the left. And then we're going to bend the left knee. And then we're going to take that left hand and bring it under the shoulder. And we're going to draw that left foot and press with that left hand and roll into that right front shoulder. So if your foot can make it to the floor, that's great. If this is way too intense for you, let me turn to face, and I can show you. That into that T shape, face down. You can then bend that elbow, that right elbow. Bend the left knee, left hand underneath, and then just gently kind of roll into that shoulder stretch. Now, depending on how high up or far down this right arm is, depends on the stretch. I've had a lot of folks draw the arm down towards the hip as you're opening up and away from it. And that is a little bit easier on the shoulder. But it's a much better thing if you bring the shoulder into alignment with the elbow and then open it up this way. You get more of a stretch. So less rotation to get a better inline stretch. Breathe into it. One more. And gently coming on out of it. And once you've rolled back over onto your tummy, go ahead and draw those arms down to your sides and just let those shoulders roll back and forth, up and down. Just kind of do some on your tummy shoulder rolls and get those worked out a little bit. And let's go ahead and work to the other side so that left arm comes out and the right arm comes out. This time we're going to bring that right arm underneath the shoulder and bend that right leg. Draw that right leg up and over, rotating at the pelvis first, and then just stretching into that left front shoulder. And if you have good open front shoulders, you can maybe even take that other arm and drop it back and open. It's up to you how far you take this. Every single body is different, and this particular asana, this shape that we're putting our bodies into, helps to reverse do all day long, rolling forward, reading books, computer, TV, driving cars, pretty much everything that modern society does. Reversing. A few more breaths. One more. Use that right arm, bring it back up under the shoulder, and slowly rotate that right leg back. Unbend the knee. Draw those arms back to the sides. Roll through the shoulders. Work that out of those shoulders. Then we're going to come back into child's pose. So walk those knees up into fours, then drop it back down. Draw the hands next to the ankles, palms up. That really lets those shoulders roll forward in this child's pose. And you'll notice that when the arms are reaching, you can't quite get the relaxation through the back of the shoulders as you can when the shoulders are drawn down. Breathe into this, long, deep and slow. One more breath. Tuck the tailbone. Roll up. One vertebra at a time. Let's kick those legs out in front of you. Move slowly. And let's go ahead and sit for just a few moments. Long, deep, slow breaths. Last breath. Now we're going to get another real tight shoulder stretch, but this time we're going to get into the backs of the shoulders. So coming on into all fours. So let's warm those up just a little bit. I know we did a big stretch on the front of the shoulder, but we need to warm up the spine again just a little. So cat-cow a couple times. Last one. And now let's pick that right arm up. Open it up to the sky. Exhale. We're going to tuck that right arm underneath us and slide the back of that right hand along the earth, dropping that right shoulder down to the earth. Let's inhale, pick it back up. Let's come on out. Let's do that 2 more times. Exhale. Rotate. Thread the eye of the needle. Inhale up. Exhale, last one. We're going to hold here. Drop that right shoulder down to the earth. Now you can use that left hand to help support the body weight. But I would like you to take that left hand and put it on your sacrum first. Make sure that pelvis is level. So set that pelvis right over those knees. And then you can take that hand and reach it up and over the head, or keep pressing through it to take body weight off of that right shoulder. Long, deep breath. Practicing yin light yoga gives us the opportunity to really stretch through the connective tissue in the body. Really open the joints up, giving improved range of motion, giving the joints breathing room. 3 more breaths. Keep making all your own personal little adjustments. And when you're ready, left hand comes underneath the left shoulder. Press it up, draw that right arm out, and then let's go ahead and open it up one more time. Exhale, bring it down. Couple of cat-cows. Last one. All right, let's get to that other side. You can take that right hand and bring it closer to underneath the face. Inhale. Left arm reaches up. Exhale, slide it under, thread that needle. 2 more times. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, bringing it in. Last one. Drop that left shoulder blade to the earth. And again, check that pelvis. Nice neutral pelvis. If you need to walk the knees away a little bit. Now find that right hand wherever it feels most comfortable. Breathe into this long, deep, slow breaths. Typically, these asanas, these shapes, can be held up to 5 minutes, depending on your tolerance and your openness. Working through the back of the shoulders also releases a lot of tension with all these strange times we're in. Breathe into your body. Find your mind's eye inside. One more breath. Slowly try and work your way out of this as gently as you can. Bring it back up. Exhale it down. Cat-cow. And child's pose. Drop it on down. Draw those arms back towards the heels again. Let that forehead meet the earth. And again, let those shoulders roll forward. Keep the breath long. Take 3 more long, deep breaths. And now gently engage through the core, tuck the tailbone, roll up one vertebra at a time. Kick the legs off to one side. Let's go ahead and lower ourselves down onto our back one vertebra at a time. Hook the hamstrings, tuck the tailbone, roll back. Get a nice long body stretch here. Reach those hands over the head. On the exhale, let's draw that right knee into the chest. Give that leg a nice deep hug and roll through that right ankle. 5 circles in each direction. And send it out on the inhale. Exhale, the left leg comes into the chest. Give it a hug. 5 circles in each direction. Send it out. Reach it out. Last one. Exhale, right knee into the chest. Roll the ankle. Last time on the left leg. Both directions. And then send that leg back out to the earth. Let's go ahead and bring those hands over the head. Bend both the knees and place the feet on the mat. Level through the spine, lengthen the spine out. And on the exhale, press that low back gently to the earth. Roll up just a little bit and inhale, relax it down. So we're going to work ourselves slowly into a bridge. Exhaling, we engage through the core and just roll up just a couple of vertebrae each time. Inhale, relax. Exhale, roll it up just a little bit more. Bring it back down. Each time you come up just a little bit further until you can find yourself all the way to the top. Hold here for a moment or two. Inhale, relax it down. Draw the knees into the chest. Give those legs a nice deep hug. Set the feet back down to the earth. And now let's locate your blanket or bolster or whatever you're using for your prop today. And we're going to raise the pelvis back up gently. And then we're going to bring that bolster or blanket or foam roller underneath the sacrum. So this is now kind of dumping all of the weight into those shoulders. Be careful when you turn your head with the weight on your shoulders. We're now going to draw that right knee back into the chest and slide the left leg out. So we're going to give the hips a nice opening before we complete our class today. A few more minutes. Yeah, at least. So here we're stretching our quadratus lumborum, the hip flexor is the main hip flexor in the body that's in the back of the pelvis. So you can feel it real tight in the front of that left hip. And the more that you can draw that right leg towards the right armpit and reach that left leg to the earth, gets a deeper stretch through that left hip flexor. Take a few nice, long, deep, slow breaths here. And then transitioning over to the other side, we're going to release that right leg. Then bend the left leg, draw it back up. And continue drawing that left leg into the heart. Give it a hug. Slide that left leg out. And notice the difference between left and right sides. Notice if one hip is tight. Notice if the body is it finds itself in a little bit different alignment. If maybe that low pelvis wants to kick back. Or if maybe you can't even get that right leg to the earth, either or. Just paying close attention to this body that we live in. And trying to open it up and make it easier to live in it, not so tight and confined. Less pain, more happy. And again, the longer we hold these poses, these shapes, the more stretch and the more length and the more opening that we can get into these joints. bringing fluidity into the body, which facilitates it to the mind, giving you a little more freer spirit and attitude. And letting it out. Bend that right leg. Let those knees drop in towards each other. Kick the feet out. If that's too much on the low back, just keep the knees right over the tops of the ankles. Now we're going to stretch both of those legs out. Hopefully the bolster or roller or blanket that you're on isn't so high that it creates too much of an arc in that low back. If that's too intense, maybe find something a little lower. Now we're going to gently walk those feet to the right. And when that left hip gets kind of tight, we're going to stack that left ankle onto the right ankle, kind of pinning it at that tight spot. And now we're going to reach the arms over the head, clasp that left wrist with the right hand, and gently arc the body over to the right. Try to keep that right hip connected to your bolster, blocker, roller, or blanket. Breathe into this nice, long, deep, slow breath. We're now stretching a muscle called quadratus lumborum, those floating ribs on your side body. It's the muscle that basically brings the rib cage to the top of the pelvis. Keep trying to roll that left hip down. Only a few more breaths here. Inhale, release the upper body first. Unhook that left ankle and walk the legs back. If you need, and lift the pelvis up just a little bit to take it out. Release through that side. Do whatever feels good to release and let that come out of the body. Let that stretch relax back. Let's go ahead and move into the other side. Straighten those legs out. Now we're going to walk the legs to the left. Set it on the left. And that kind of hooks that leg in to that lateral flexion. Now take that left wrist, reach the arms over the head, and arc over. Long, deep breaths here. Holding for roughly 2 to 3 minutes, 10, 15 breaths, or to your tolerance. Breathing into this quadratus lumborum stretch. And it's the bolster underneath the hips is what targets that particular muscle. So we can do these side stretches, lateral flexion with the hips down on the earth, and it'll open up the side body. But when we lift those hips up, we get really deep into the back body. And that's how we target that particular muscle. One more breath. Or maybe 2 or 3. I kind of like hanging out here right now. One more breath. All right, go ahead and release it. Upper body comes back to neutral. Lower body comes back to neutral. Bend the knees. Bring the arms over the head, back to the sides. Lift those hips up gently. And let's go ahead and snatch that prop out from underneath the hips. Slowly let those hips come down. Okay, now walk the feet out to the outer border of the mat And slowly windshield wiper the knees back and forth. Last rotation. And now level that spine out. Draw those knees into the chest. Give those legs a nice deep hug and rock back and forth. And find yourself now in the reverse position of child's pose on your back instead of on your tummy. Give those legs a nice deep hug. And let's set those feet down to the earth. Let's stretch the back body just a little bit more. I know the legs didn't get a lot of attention today. So we're going to draw that right knee into the chest. Straighten that right leg. And then try to walk those hands up the back of that leg and really try to press through that knee to straighten and lengthen that back leg, giving it its little bit of attention for the day. Roll through your ankle if you so choose. And reverse the roll of the ankle. Press that knee straight a couple times. Do your best. I know hamstrings are really grumpy. That's why I love to work with them. Making grumpy muscles happy. And draw that right leg back into the chest. Give it a hug. Set it down. Take that left leg into the chest. Straighten the leg. Walk those hands up the back of the leg. And really stretch through hamstrings, gastroc, soleus, all those back leg muscles. Use your breath. Three more breaths. Really give those leg muscles some love. Loosening up through that lumbar spine. Just another breath or two. And bend that knee. Set that foot to the earth. One more gentle stretch. Let's put the right ankle on the left knee. Let's get our piriformis stretch in here. Really encourage that left leg to open up. With the palm in the hip crease of that left leg, really just kind of encourage it to open and encourage that left leg to open. And then work that, right leg open. Work that left leg into the body. And coming into your nice deep piriformis stretch here, figure four stretch. This one can be very, very difficult for anyone who has low back problems and anyone who sits a lot, like truck drivers. This is a fabulous stretch for you. Also that hamstring stretch. FYI, if you know who I'm talking to. A particular son-in-law of mine. Long, deep breath. Set it down. Uncross. If you need a little windshield wiper action here, go ahead and give that. If you don't need any windshield wiper action, just move on to the next side. Same sequence. Other side. Ten breaths. every exhale, try to get that left ankle a little closer to the heart. One more breath. And slowly release. Uncross. Windshield wiper back and forth if you need again. If you're all good here, go ahead and slide those legs out along the earth. Let's go ahead and grab that blanket or bolster or whatever have you if you need it up under the head or if you need to cover yourself up. Find yourself in your most comfortable shavasana that you can find. If you have low back issues, we can use our prop underneath those knees. Turn the palms up. Allow the entire back body to relax into the earth. Do a visual scan of the body, the toes. Give them a little wiggle. The ankles. Move the ankles just a little bit and let them relax. The calves. The quadriceps. The glutes. The core. The heart. Feel how open and heart the shoulders are. How much room we've given those arms to breathe today. Let the elbows be heavy to the earth, backs of the hands. Swallow. Smile. Relax the face muscles. Relax the forehead. Maybe put a little smile on the face. Allow the body to completely release and fall into your breath. Be an observer of your breath. Remain here for as long as you feel. Continuing to let the body relax and heal. I thank you for allowing me to guide your practice today, opening through your body, healing your joints, and calming your mind. May we be at peace. May our hearts remain open. May we be healed. May we be a for other beings. And may we awaken to the light of our own true nature.